Okay, I have a few depends. Know that I am not talking about just 2 or 3. Ooh. Hey there, it's Grace. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Now this collection of mine has been growing, and I've come to think of it as my mini fascination of mine. You might have seen my short video, not a short, but a short length video that I posted of my latest find, the wooden glass dip pen. I couldn't help it. Oof, I could not help it. The thing about glass dip pens is, not glass dip pens necessarily, the thing about dip pens, I should say, is that they're so dang inexpensive compared to fountain pen, that is, that you think that adding one more won't be that bad. It just won't. And I'm obsessed. Yeah, I'm calling it. I am obsessed. Let's get to the overhead so I can show you this small, cute stack of dip pens that I love my dip pens. I love them. All right, let's go. Okay, I forgot to let you know in the intro what I'll exactly be doing. So yes, I will be showing you my dip pens, but that's going to be a bit boring. What I decided to do instead was show them, but also do a writing sample of each. Just a little bit. So I created a couple of sheets, and the first one has all the dip pens lined up, listed, and then I'm going to do some line width of each one, and then I'm going to show the ink capacity for one dip in the ink with that dip pen. So that'll, I just, the thing is, I've not done this before. I've not compared all of the dip pens, and I thought this would be a good time to try it. The second thing I'll be doing is doing a writing sample, so of each pen, and I think that's it. Yeah, anyway, let me set things up here and I will be right back. I completed the writing sample of each one of the pens previously. I will show them as I write with each pen. And the other thing that I want to say is I will be using one ink for the whole thing here. And I got this idea from Simone. She, and I think I will adopt that as well. She uses one ink for her pen review, or when she gets a new pen in, she uses one ink. She doesn't use different inks. I think I might start doing that, because then you don't change the variables. Nothing about anything changes, because the same sample book I use and the same ink will be the same. The only thing different is the pen that I'm doing it. This ink is, I love this bottle. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I do love nice ink bottles. This is Pilot Namiki, and it's a blue fountain pen, fountain pen ink rather. And I write with blue. I prefer writing with blue, so it makes sense. I'm still looking for the perfect blue, but I'm doing all of this so that you can get it, not changing the ink and only differentiating between the nibs, the dip pens that I'm using, so that we can get a feel for the line width, the capacity, and then the writing sample, which I said I'll show you later. Anyway, let's get going. The first in my collections are, I've divided them into 2 collections. These are my metal nib, my metal dip pens, that's what they are. And these are my glass dip pens. I realize it's so interesting. Anyway, the only criteria for me, and why I wanted to make this video, the only criteria when I want to write with a dip pen is, what is the line variation going to be? What am I after? Because we know that the Kakimori can make a thicker line width. But I've never seen all of these pens all at once. That's what this paper is for. I want to be able to see especially this here. I want to be able to see all of this. The ink dip capacity, I'm going to do that one first with each pen because I want to see how much ink the dip pen actually holds, how far it goes. I have a feeling some of them will go beyond the length I've given it, but we'll see. First up, I'm going to do my 3 Sailor Hocoro pens. I have a fine, I have a 1.1 calligraphy that for the rest of this video I will call a stub, and I have a Fude. And I got the Fude nib. I actually got the Fude nib in, let me show you, in an ink journal subscription. It came with a Dipton ink. This came with this Dipton ink, Coral Humming. As you can see, I don't know if you can see. I won't be able to show it. Anyway, I've used this ink a lot. I actually wrote in my transcribing notebook, which was so cool. Oh my god, that was cool. Anyway, this is the Hocoro Fine. Let's open this up and start. As I said, I'm going to do the ink capacity because I want the first dip to be how far does it write. And I'm only going to do scribbles. I'm not going to write with a sentence. I did that sample part already. You're still going. One of the things I like about the Sailor Hocoro now is when I first got them, they didn't have the ink, the reservoir. They now sell it. So I've gotten the reservoir for each of these pens. It came in the Fude nib, the shimmering Dipton ink. It came with that, but I didn't have it for the other two, so I actually got them. And fun fact, I wanted to use these dip pens with Vlogmas, and I ordered the reservoirs to come in, and that thing is still going. Well, look at that. That's why the reservoir is so good. Before, when I didn't have the reservoir, it would probably be maybe the top line, maybe halfway at the top line, and it drove me up a friggin' wall. We're kind of lightening up now. There we go, lightening up. Alrighty, that's a lot of ink it holds. And as I said, that is the reservoir that you can buy. It's an additional purchase. It does not come, unless you get the Dipton, but that comes with the Fude. It doesn't come with it. Now, I just want to do some line width variations. See what the pen can do. Alrighty, so that's the fine nib. One of the things I do, I have the Fude and I have the stub nib. I'm gonna make sure I clean that off before I put it back down. I have this is the Hocoro, this is the stub nib. So it's a 1.1 millimeter stub nib. I don't often use this one. Now we're not even writing. Come on, you need to do your thing. Oh, it needs to be up and down, really? I think this is gonna go a while as well. But we'll see. We will see. This is not one of the glass tip pens that you can actually twist to keep the reservoir, keep the ink running. We're starting to get lighter, but not really. I tell you, I love the reservoir now, because the reservoir means I can write a while. That's still going. Let's see how it does here. That's not bad. That's not bad. It does definitely have line variation with the stub nib, and I'm interested to see how the Fude nib does. We'll see, because I haven't written with this since I got it, and I just did the bare sample. I don't know if this. Okay, let me just go. Oh, it lays down lots of color. Wow. But you notice how it lays down lots of color, but then it stops. It's almost writing like a medium maybe after a while. But it's still putting out color, just not that bunch at the beginning. And I am holding this pen at an angle. And it's an angle that's like this, not necessarily an angle that goes up and down. It is still going. It is still going. But I must say the majority of the ink went in the beginning. Let's see. There's a smoother stroke going crosswise. Alrighty. That actually surprised me. That surprised me that the stub was so much of a stub nib. I don't know. I don't know why that surprised me. Next up is, I have two of these. These are my Pilot Iro-Utsushi dip pens. I love this. I actually bought the medium and the fine before I bought the reservoirs for the Hocoro nibs, because this holds a little bit more than it holds a little bit more than those ever did in the beginning. But we'll see. We will see. And remember, this one is the fine. So it's actually putting down a beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's still going. I love the fact that it's still going. We're lightening up a bit here. There you go. That's all that it holds. The reservoir makes a big difference with the Hocoros. Very smooth writer. Bit of feedback across. Okay, that's the fine nib in the Pilot Iro-Utsushi. I absolutely, this is one of my favorite nibs to use. The medium in particular, this one in particular, one of my favorite nibs to use. You will always see this blue, clear blue that I use. All right, let's see how long this one lasts. And I'm trying to make sure, do I see a difference? I'm not actually seeing. We'll see a difference, hopefully we'll see a difference in the line width. Oh, that surprised me. That lasted a little bit less than the fine. Might have been the dip thing. I don't know, maybe not a whole lot went on it. Let's do strokes. Definitely see a difference between these two. Alrighty, still love this pen. This is one of my favorites to write with all the time because I just love what it does. Alrighty, and next one up is, everybody knows about the Kakimori. I got the stainless steel nib. I prefer writing with this one rather than the brass, although I still want the brass. Let's see how far this, I think this is going to be a lot. We'll see. And this is one of the ones, I definitely turn my glass dip pens, and I also turn my Kakimori. That's still going. Capacity is really good for this one because of all those channels. All the channel, it's still going. I love that it's still going. The capacity for ink. Oh, there, it ran out. Wow, I was surprised that it would run out. Wow. I love when I got this one, this was an off chance that I got this one. I was visiting my son in New York, and we happened upon a stationery store, and they had stationery items, but they had inks, and they had this nib, and I just decided I'm just gonna go for it. I love it. It was an impulse buy, but I think it's one of my best impulse buys. Best impulse buys. There you go. The line variation you get with this is killer. I'm going to do it a little bit differently because we all know the Kakimori does that thick line. Here's that one. And the more you angle it up, the thinner the line gets. And this is completely upright. No, there's nothing left. And that's completely upright. So yeah, I'm gonna do over here because I do want to see the figure eights. But that's the line variation you can get with a Kakimori nib. It's freaking absolutely wonderful, can I just say. One of the ones that I use, and I use this mainly, this is called an offset nib. I use this particular holder and nib. As you can see, it's really dark, and I think most of the stuff has come off. But also, I use this pen in my mixed media work I did years ago, so that also might be a permanent thing from the ink that I was using. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't use this very often, except for when I'm doing black line work on pages that I'm trying different ways to use fountain pen inks. That's another video coming up as well. And I do a wash of fountain pen ink on a piece of paper, and I'm just using this to make line variations, like circles and lines, and I'll show you, if I remember, I'll show you here whilst I'm doing this, that how it happened and what it looks like. I originally used, the reason I started using this pen, the offset calligraphy pen, in that work, that fountain pen ink artwork, I guess you'd say, is because the micron Pigna pens that I had, they all ran out. I obviously haven't done any artwork in ages, and so they dried up. And then when I actually wanted to do something, so I pulled this one out, the calligraphy nib, and I haven't gone back to any micron pens, because micron pens are wonderful, absolutely wonderful, but this works for what I wanted to do. Let's get to, I don't think this will hold much ink for the ink capacity. I usually have to re-dip almost immediately. Yeah, we're going out now. That's not a lot of ink at all, but I'm not expecting this one to have a lot of ink. I mainly use platinum black. What is it called? Platinum. It's always sitting here. Platinum black. I don't know what it. This one. It's just called platinum black. That's what I use to create the shapes on the fountain pen ink swatches, ink play I do. One of the things I like about this particular nib is the variation. You can see the tines separate. I absolutely love that. And you can see, you can get varied. Yeah. And of course, obviously, it's only one size. I love that you can vary the width. Love that! Send this thing out. That's okay. That's okay. Now, last one nib that I included this one. Although it's technically a nib, you don't necessarily use this nib. This is my folded nib. You don't, the ink holds up in between that space right there. So I don't use it for writing, but as it is a nib I regularly use, I couldn't not include it. Needless to say, when you see the sample writing sheet, this won't be on there because I don't write with this. I just want to show, the main thing I want to show with this is the ink capacity, because, where did I have it? I like to swatch my inks a certain way. Well, looky there, the Hocoro Fude is giving me some shading in red. That's interesting. You can also see it slightly. Oh, okay. Let's just get to. Sorry for the squeaking. This literally lays down a slew of color. And, oh, what are you doing? Get out of there, it's not your turn. It's still going. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's a lot of color. And that's why I love to use this nib. Because all of this, if this were a dual shader or a shimmer ink, all of this pooling would be those properties. That's why I use this. So I'm not going to. I wonder if it's for artists use it. I wonder if I can get. Oh, I can get I can get lines. Oh. Well, I take that back. It's very thick though. That's a lot. That's a lot of ink. I don't want that much ink necessarily, but as I said, I use the folded nib mainly for swatching ink color. I am so happy that I got to see all of that ink lay down. Oh, so cool. Okay, let's get to the glass dip pens. That was my last metal nib in my collection so far. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 metal dip pens. I was surprised when I kind of got all my dip pens together. This is all I have. I have 4 glass dip pens. I thought I had more. What? I really thought that the majority of my dip pens was glass dip pens. The thing I found interesting, the thing I always find interesting about glass dip pens is they generally don't have a size. It's just, this is the thing. And that's why I like to collect the glass dip pens, because hopefully it'll show here the variations in size that you don't know until you actually get it. Like when you look at compare a fine Western nib to a Japanese fine nib, you know what you're getting, right? These glass tips can vary so much depending upon the manufacturer, which is one of the reasons why, total aside, which is one of the reasons why I want to visit Murano Island in Venice, Italy. Murano is world famous for, since the 13th century, y'all. What? Its historic tradition of glass making from that time. It is known for that. I would love to visit Murano and just see all the glass being made. And the reason I know this is because I'm doing another video on glass dip pen specifically, because I love it. Oh, look, it's showing up. It's showing up. I didn't know that this ink had a okay. This first dip pen is my Rohrer in Klingner. This one is so pretty. I got this one and the next one in the same batch because I really just wanted to try it out. This was my first glass dip pen, and it's a handmade. It's really thin. The barrel is so thin. Look at that. It's handmade, as opposed to mass produce. I have one of the mass produced ones, but I don't generally use it. I actually don't even know where it is, and that's how someone sent it to me as a extra gift. Just the glass dip, and I don't use it. I used it a lot in the beginning, this particular one, because I only had the one and the two. I don't necessarily reach for it as much as before. A couple of the others I regularly reach for, like I told you about my pilot Iro-Utsushi. Let's just dip this. Let's get a good dip. I want to see how far it goes. It's very, wow. You can see it almost drying out. But the thing with glass dip pens is if you turn it as you're writing, you'll get more of the channel, the ink from the other channels. And I don't know. Okay, I've turned it. There we go. We're running out now. That's it. Alrighty, that's not bad. That's not a bad ink capacity at all. Let's do line variation. It's fairly consistent. It writes like a broad, very, very wide line, considering like the Hocoro fine up here. So that is my Rohrer and Klingner. The next one up I got in the same order, and I got it because it's capped. I thought that was interesting. This is the Majohn capped glass dip pen, and I absolutely love this dip pen. I do like how it writes. I wrote with this one. For Vlogmas in 2023, I decided I didn't want to ink up a pen or even a dipper pen in ink, and so I just use dip pens throughout the whole Vlogmas swatching of all the inks. I love the fact that I did that because I got to see what the dip pens did, and I found out by the end of that period, that Vlogmas period, that I was selecting certain pens more readily because I was finding out which pens showcase the ink better, which is interesting. Interesting. Let's do a writing sample now. I mean a stroke. Let's do line variations on the Majohn. Wow. Downstrokes have almost like it runs out. That's a lot of ink. When you look at that, that's a lot of ink. And so you would think, that's nice. That's nice. It's interesting reading it. It's interesting. Let's just see. Let's just see towards the end. Now, next up is my Jinhao. I found this out. I found this when I found out that Jinhao made a glass dip pen with an interchangeable nib. Seriously, you can put a different nib in there. I just strictly use this one. I bought it in this color to use as a glass dip pen only. But the fact that you can change your line with, what? You can change the nib rather. Oh my gosh! Let's see how much ink this gives me. With the ink capacity, let's turn that puppy. Now, I want to get full ink. Oh, any more? No, more still coming. That's it. That's it. That's surprising. That's as much as the Pilot Iro-Utsushi medium. Interesting. Fascinating. Okay. Alrighty. So that's the last one. I just love how this thing looks. I think one of the reasons I reach for this is because I write with fountain pens so easily that this is muscle memory holding this pen as opposed to holding a glass dip pen. This is muscle memory, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Last one, which started this whole journey into dip pens, is this one. I'm gonna show it to you all wrapped up. So this is the pen. I absolutely love this. I love how it looks. I love the sleek nature of it. I love the striations of the wood. Oh my gosh. And then I love the fact that it looks like just one piece of wood until you start twisting to take the cap off, and you produce a glass tip pen. What miracle of fun is that? Okay, I love this. I absolutely love this one. I was going to get the one, I was looking for a bamboo one, and I was going to get it, and then this one came into my purview, and I thought, ooh, I kind of like this. I kind of like the look of it. So let's see. The writing I did with it was its maiden voyage. Oh, I did that wrong. That is the Jinhao 82. I forgot. I'm going to have to change those. Alrighty, let's just do this. Why didn't y'all tell me I was doing things wrong? This is interesting. It's so dang scratchy. Whoa, it's still going. Still going. Wow. And you can see that I'm turning. Okay, we're running out now. There we go. That was a lot. That was a lot of run out. Wow. I'm surprised I missed that. So I have to go back and do that now. Dang it. Alrighty, let's see the line variation. Alrighty. Wow, that was a lot. I'm surprised at that. Okay, let me go back and I'll put this here. Let me go back and do the Jinhao. No, it wasn't the Jinhao, it's the Majohn capped. I forgot to do that. Let's do that one and just put it here. It's laying down so much color. Starting to little bits of run out. I'm gonna call that George for that one. Yeah. And let me do the other one. We're gonna do line variation for the Jinhao 82 that for some reason I completely missed. Wow. It's actually thicker than a Majohn, but thinner than the Rohrer and Klingner. The Rohrer and Klingner comes off as a broad nib. Totally comes off as a broad nib. And this is what I was saying about the sizing of glass tip pens. You don't know what size you're going to get. You just have to get it and just test it. But I must say, I am loving what it's one of the reasons why I love the folded nib, is because it really shows up all the shading and shimmers and everything. It beautifully shows up in the swatching. So that's why I still use it. The one that surprised me the most, I think, is the Pilot Iro-Utsushi medium. It didn't last as long. And I must say, I find that I am dipping that pen as often, I should say. I need to remember, maybe it's time to get the Hocoro medium or just use the Fude nib. Because I don't want, when I'm doing samples, I don't want to use, I want to create a stub environment. I really just want to see how the pen writes, or the ink writes rather. I am absolutely loving that I've done this swatch test. This is so cool. I've always wanted, as I said before, I always wanted to see what they are, my selection, my collection of dip pens. I wanted to see how they really write. This part right here is, I'm going to be definitely using this. I did not know the folded nib does that. I did not know it does that. So I can continue to grow my dip pen collection. I'm so excited that I've done this. Oh, I forgot. Here are the ink samples for each one. As you can see, and I've mistyped this. This is supposed to be medium. I did cursive and I did print, and I just wanted to see what it does for each one. The thing that surprised me, which when I did the writing sample, is I didn't expect the Rohrer and Klingner to be that thick a line variation, but it makes sense here now that I see these figure eights and the lines that it gives off. It makes sense here, and it's almost like this is stub, this is medium stub, maybe this is medium, and this is medium fine. Yeah, medium fine. Oh, I'm so glad I did this. The quote says, I just use the same quote, rest gently in your own garden. I am absolutely loving the information that this is putting out. Oh my goodness. This is so cool. Absolutely so cool. If this helps you at all, excellent, excellent, excellent. As you probably already realized about me, I love gathering data and information and trivia. It makes my journey in fountain pens all the more full, and I say that intentionally, full and enjoyable. Now, the data collection, I'm going to give you a little backstory on the data collection. I am weirdly and tenaciously curious by half. I like to know all the things. And I remember in my tween years, Mom got me a book called The Book of Why. It had all manner of information about everything that you could think of. Remember, internet wasn't a part of our life, so I had to get that information somewhere. Now, of course, we have the Google machine, but I remember combing through that Book of Why book, so much so that when the second one came out, Mommy bought me the second one as well, because she could see that I really, really liked it. Anyway, that's it for now. That's a little history about me. That's a little data for your, I don't know if you're going to use this or not, but if you do, if this is interesting, let me know in the comments if this is interesting to you. What is your dip pen collection about? What do you have? And how is this going to help you, if it's going to help you at all? Because I just need to know. That's the curious part of me. Anyway, see you in the next video. Bye!